what's going on, YouTube? Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart doing another CarCast. This might be an unpopular video. I want to reference, and this is not to badmouth the guy. I actually thought it was a pretty intriguing point. A subscriber, I guess, that Charles Knight, which I want to give a huge shout out to because it takes a lot of effort, man, to just even make a comment on the videos. By the way, comment, subscribe, and it's always great to be an Auburn Tiger on a great Saturday afternoon. Auburn clawing it out in Waco, Texas. Came up a little short, 14-point loss against the number 2 team in the country. I think Baylor did a pretty good job, especially throughout the game, kind of frustrating Sharife Cooper a little bit. He did, keep his composure, but did a really good job of keying on him, taking away a lot of his strengths. Daring him to shoot the basketball, taking away a lot of his passes, a lot of his abilities that has had him successful up to this point. But nonetheless, I think Auburn showed a great deal of resilience, a great deal of athleticism. You could tell Bruce Pearl is doing a good job recruiting. This Baylor team is actually very good. This was a situation where, Baylor could have beat another team in this same situation by about 30 points. But Auburn managed to hang around, actually shot themselves in the foot a little bit with the free throw shooting. But nonetheless, a very enjoyable game. I really got a kick out of watching Auburn in this game today. They still, took some ill-advised shots and missed some opportunities on defense on some long rebounds. But at the same time, War Eagle anyway, these guys really put the school on the map as far as effort goes, has some nice highlighted plays, and this could transfer over to some really nice things in the future. I really hope that by some stretch Sharife Cooper will come back, because you're probably looking at a Final Four-ish basketball team if these guys can stay together. All right, so I had this subscriber, which, it is what it is. I had a video on Cornelius Williams, the new wide receiver coach at Auburn, and Charles Knight said, "I don't like you trashing Will Hastings, bro. He played because all the all-stars, the superstars, you pointed out, totally underperformed, and I guess Will Hastings did a good job." Now, I'm not discounting Will Hastings' effort. I'm not discounting some of the things that he did from a successful standpoint. But I want to ask you, what SEC team, at least the teams that Auburn has to compete against on a high level every year, LSU, Georgia, and Alabama, and maybe even Florida occasionally, which one of those teams would Will Hastings have been the starter? This is not to discount his talent. This is not to discount his effort. This is not to discount what he did for Auburn when he was healthy. But what team? This guy was a walk-on, I think, place kicker or punter or something like that. He had a lot of speed. He ran routes very educationally. But at the same time, from an ultra-talented standpoint, would you have started Will Hastings over Devonta Smith? Would you have started Will Hastings over Jamar Chase? Probably not. Why is Will Hastings in the game when you have Eli Stove? When you have, obviously Seth Williams is on the field anyway, but why have Will Hastings on the field and Anthony Schwartz is not at any given point of personnel packages? And another question is, this goes back to the errant personnel packaging with Gus Malzahn, which got Gus in a lot of trouble. Why do you have Shanaker split out wide? Who is he fooling? What linebacker gives a shit whether he's out there or not? Yeah, he might catch the ball for about 10 yards, but he's no threat. Will Hastings, yeah, he might have kind of caught some cornerbacks and safeties slipping here and there. But overall, nobody's scared of Will Hastings. It has to come to a point, and I hope that this new coaching staff will see this. You got to have some legitimate threats at wide receiver. Some guys that secondaries are scared to death of. Maybe Georgia's not quite there yet. I think George Pickens and company could be those kind of guys, but you look at wide receiver cores, the main two teams that have been in the college football playoff, have won the last two national championships in the Southeastern Conference. They had wide receivers that literally scared the shit out of you. Kevin Steele literally had to design a defense, the 3-1-7 defense. Luckily, he had the personnel to do it, to kind of halfway channel what LSU did on an epic level last year, and still managed 500. Now, I will admit, it was 500 of the toughest yards that they had all year. But still, you got to redesign your defense to stop these guys. What defense did any defensive coordinator in the SEC have to redesign to match up with Auburn's receivers? I'm not one of those I'll wait kind of guys, but for this one, I'll wait, because there's no defensive coordinator that's spending his whole week scratching his head, picking his brain, trying to figure out how he's going to stop the Auburn wide receiver core for the last, I can't even remember. What Auburn wide receiver has just scared the shit out of defensive coordinators? I can't name one. And that just goes to show, we talk about this underperforming stuff. We talk about this, Will Hastings is out there because the other guys underperform. When you know Gus Malzahn, I don't know if you can legitimately say that. You can't tell me that there weren't more skilled guys than Schoeneker split out wide. What is he going to do? You split him out wide, okay, we're good. He has zero threat. At worst, we might get caught off balance, and Auburn might get us for about 15 yards, and that's about it. And those are the things we got to get out of. We got to get out of that stuff. I'm not at all saying that Will Hastings is not or was not a good contributor at the wide receiver position. I'm not saying that at all. I definitely probably over-applaud his effort, considering a walk-on. But at Auburn, why you need walk-on starting that wide receiver to begin with? Devonta Smith ain't no damn walk-on. Jamar Chase, absolutely not a walk-on. Justin Peters, I think his name was, from Clemson and went to Phoenix City High School. He's not a walk-on. You asking guys like Will Hastings to compete with these guys who are natural wide receivers, not no feel-good story. These guys are pretty much perfect in their craft. And Auburn is going around with these in the past coaching regime with feel-good stories. Feel-good stories is not going to win you a national championship. Feel-good stories are not going to win you a SEC championship. As a matter of fact, feel-good stories are not going to win you the SEC West. You need to recruit guys that know how to play legitimately the position. Yes, I think Will Hastings was a great route runner. Will Hastings is about 5'9", I think. Who is he scaring? Yeah, he might hit you up for a big play here and there and on some gimmick type stuff, be wide open. But play after play where defenses have to key in on him as a wide receiver, absolutely not. If I'm a defensive coordinator under the Gus Malzahn era with the wide receivers that are out there and the kind of routes they run, I'm licking my chops. As a matter of fact, I'm getting my defense prepared for a couple of games down the week because there's nothing to see here. And this is not to badmouth Auburn, but we got to be real about this. You're not going to win national championships with walk-on place kickers as your wide receiver. It just is what it is. And we can't say that Will Hastings outworked anybody, because we don't know. Gus Malzahn was not the most transparent coach when it came to that kind of stuff. It could even be rumored that he had some favorites. He let a lot of good guys slip away. I even think back to, you know what? I'm not even going to mention that, because I'm just not even in the mood for the comments tonight. But either way, Auburn is going into the early signing period. I mean, not the early signing period, but the national signing day, February the 3rd. A lot of good guys have surfaced. As a matter of fact, Auburn got a nice defensive end out of Northwestern, which we will talk about. I'm going to do a little bit of film study on him before I drop that video. But we got to get rid of the feel-good stories. I mean, that's not going to win you national championships, SEC championships, or even at the toughest division in college football, the SEC West. You got to have some real players, man. And you have to have some legitimate mismatch making personnel packages, and Shanaker and Will Hastings, by and large, is just not the group. Let me know what you think about this video. Definitely appreciate the subscriber or just listeners comment. But I just wanted to bring a point. You're not going to get rings like that. Devontae Smith and Will Hastings, that's not even a conversation. It's barely Devontae Smith and Seth Williams is, I mean, it could be a conversation, but Devontae Smith and Justin Ross and some of those other guys, definitely not a conversation. And it's not to overly sunshine pump those receivers, but let's just be real, man. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart. Like the video, comment, and subscribe. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.